Okay, so this is a relatively quick run through for how to use EPMA. So this is the minimum you need to be able to function using EPMA. Right, so what I'm going to do on your desktops or on vWorkspace, you will see the EPMA icon. Do not confuse it with the Nerve Center icon. You can also access this via the clinical applications, our IT applications page on the intranet. So let's just open EPMA. So it recognizes your logon automatically if you are logged into a PC. So you shouldn't need to use a different logon or username. This is the landing page. So the things that you probably need to worry about are the inpatient finder mainly. You can also do outpatient prescriptions on this. It's exactly the same user interface as the inpatient one. So what I'm going to do is take you through the inpatient one. That should give you enough information to be able to do an outpatient prescription. And if we've got time, we'll just do a bit of outpatients at the very end just to show you what that looks like. So what you're going to do, you're going to click Inpatient Finder. And you can either choose to search for the patient by name, by hospital award, by national NHS number, or hospital number. What we're going to do is we're going to go to our test ward. And all the names come up. You select by just clicking the name. It doesn't normally take that long. And it takes you into the record. So I'm just going to cover the user interface here a little bit because I think this is the important bit about this system. Those of you that have done electronic prescribing for some time and have done it on the old JAC system, it's this bit that's very different. It's the user interface that's different. So at the top, we've got a demographics banner. So each of the sections in here are clickable, and I'll show you where that takes you in a moment. Down below that, we've got something called a communication zone. So if there's a problem with the system, or if what you're doing is conflicting with something, an alert will pop up here to let you know. Down here, this is the really vital bit because this is a contextual menu that changes depending on which tab you have selected here. So the tabs down here give you the main window of what you are doing. And every time you go into a patient, what happens is you land on the monitoring and assessment tab. And we're going to talk about what that looks like in a moment. So when you open each patient, you'll notice that this big red box comes up, and this tells you what the allergies are, and it's really, it gets in your face, so you have to get rid of it, and you have to dismiss it actively like that. If there is another user in the patient record, you'll see that pop up here as well, so you know if someone's administering some drugs at the time you're in the patient record. So the monitoring and assessment page, the reason why you land on here is because if there has been no allergies recorded or no one's done that, you will not be able to do anything else. You won't be able to go over to these other inpatient tab unless you've done the allergy. And if they've just been admitted, if you've not done the initial VTE assessment, it will not let you go to that until you've done the VTE assessment. So let's do the allergies bit first. So easiest way to do an allergies is to click on the allergy status here. And when you click on anything on this patient information page pops up in front of the other page. So to get rid of this, you've got to dismiss it. But this one has its own tabs down the side, and you can see things like patient details, clinical details, who the GP is, the allergies and sensitivities bit, which is what we want to do, and the sensitivities history. And you'll notice as I change tab, again, the menu up here changes as to what you can do. So what we're going to do is we're going to add an allergy here. So you click add allergy, and we're going to add an allergy to ramipril. So you can search for that very easily. If you want to add an allergen group, best to search for an individual drug within that group and then do it to the whole group. So let's do an allergen to the whole group of ACE inhibitors. So we'll select that. And now what I need to do is I need to select the reaction. So you've got lots of options here. And let's see, you could do a bespoke reaction by adding a patient note, which we'll come to later on. Let's say the patient gets a swelling whenever they have an allergy. If you want to delete an allergy, you can delete these as well, because once you click, let's get rid of the adhesive dressings. Actually, that's fixed, so let's get rid of that one, and then let's save that. So now what happens is it pops up again. So you have to dismiss that again and then get rid of that, and then that's done. So the allergies are there. Just coming on to VTE assessments, normally that would pop up into this actions page. You need to do a VTE assessment, but I'll just want to show you the VTE assessment here. I'm going to add an assessment and we're going to do VTE assessment. And because we've already done one already on this patient, it will be on clinical change. It'll automate to that. You don't need to do the 72 ones, unless there's a specific reason to. And let's say this is a surgical patient, they're more than 60, they've had a knee replacement, and they've had another procedure with IB, and then that's done. So that's a really easy way of doing the VTE assessment. Now, once that's done, then you can move on to do your prescription. So let's go to inpatient, the inpatient prescription tab. Now, this is where you would see your drug chart. This is what your drug chart normally looks like. And as you can see, we've only got one drug here. So what I'm going to do, we're going to add a couple of drugs here, and I'm going to show you what the chart looks like, and we're going to have a look at how it's going to be viewed. So let's add a drug. Let's add amoxicillin, so you can just search like that, and let's do 500 milligram capsule. So you click the drug, another window pops up. So this is your prescribing window. Again, each of these is a tab, and this may change depending on what tab you're on. And when things are green, that means things are fine. If it was an unusual drug you weren't sure if, you could click the clinical drug information, and that would take you to an external website that explains what the drug is and has some really useful information. Any formulary notes would be on there. We've got a drug conflict here though, so it automatically says that there is a conflict here, and there's a conflict here with the allergen. If there was a problem, if we'd prescribed something that interacted with amoxicillin, that would also pop up here. And you've got to make an active decision as to what you want to do. So you're going to do that because you really don't care, and actually you're going to prescribe the amoxicillin anyway. Goes green, you can carry on. If I hadn't have done that, I wouldn't be able to confirm. So this would all be grayed out. So going back to drug conflicts, we've done that. Order entry. So this is where you can adjust the dose, adjust the frequency. You can just type in, if I wanted to put ON, so at night it would pop onto that. Let's do TDS, so TD 3 times a day. Now, when I've done that TDS, what happens is with the vast majority of drugs, apart from methyl dopa, the administration times are fixed. So if you have prescribed this at, say, 11 o'clock and you want to give a dose now, what you need to do, and this is really easy to miss, and this is why the user interface, understanding it becomes really important. Up here, you see this regular order. You go there, and that you can change any order you prescribe to a stat order, a PRN order, or what we want here, a regular and an associated stat order. So we want to prescribe a stat dose now and then kick on to the normal administration times. And you've got the time there. You can adjust both of these independently. If they've come in on their own drug, you can admit them on this drug or have their own medication supply. So you can set that all there as well. So we're going to leave it on that, and we're going to confirm. So this just confirms what it will look like on the drug chart. You can see the administration times. It defaults to 5 days, which you can adjust if you need to. And that's done. And then what you see is you see them pop up on here. So that's how to prescribe a drug. Now, when you look at the drug chart, what I'm going to do, I'm going to very quickly prescribe another drug just so it looks a little bit more complicated. So let's prescribe some Ramipril 10 milligram capsules. And we want to do 10 milligrams, and we want to do BD. And yep, that's done. And then we can confirm that. So, you know, it's quick to put one on. So you can view the drug chart like that, so a bit more of a simpler view, or like that, which gives you kind of when they're administered. It gives you a 5-day history of what of how it's been administered. You can or sort these by BNF chapter. You can sort them by order type, which is probably the best way to sort them, because seeing drugs regularly is quite useful, and what the PRN and what the stat ones are. That's the best way to do that. If you want more information on a drug, or if you want to adjust the drug, so you've made a mistake, or you want to do something else, then all you do is in this tab, in the inpatient tab, just click the drug, and it pops up again, and you can see the things that you need to do. So what you do here is you modify the order, and you see this contextual menu changes. You can modify the order directly. Let's say we want to up it to 20, and you can select that you know, we want that to start today, and that will sort that out. Okay, let's do that. You can put your reason why you're modifying it there. The other thing you can do from this tab is you can suspend the order. Say, we need to confirm that we've changed the dose first. So we've confirmed we've changed the dose, but we want to suspend the 10 milligram dose. So we want to modify that. That's the one that's been already suspended. So sorry, so that's been crossed off already. We want to actually suspend this one, which is the 20 milligram dose that we just changed it to. So let's suspend that order, and let's say they're going to theatres and we don't want to have it. Save. So that's done, and you can see as I scroll over, it's suspended, and that's what it looks like on the drug chart as well. So that's how to suspend a drug. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to do anticoagulants, and then we're going to go on to pulling some drugs in from an old drug chart. So anticoagulants is a particular issue. So let's do that. Let's add some warfarin. And the thing to note here is you can search for particular protocols as well. So if I needed to do a prednisolone reducing regime, you can just add the whole regime using the protocol. Infusions we haven't turned on yet. It's a bit complex to sort infusions out, but that's available. That will be available in future as well. So you can do the IBD dose. But what I want actually is I want warfarin. So let's search for warfarin, and we're going to do 3 milligram tablets. So it's telling me I have to do it on the protocol. So because warfarin is a particular way of prescribing, we have to do a protocol. So we're going to do the protocol, and we're going to do that one, warfarin tablets. So now this is the warfarin page. Now we've had a few issues with warfarin because the way it looks on the chart sometimes can be a bit confusing unless you know how the chart works electronically. You can choose to prescribe warfarin irregularly or regularly. So if I do an irregular order, I can do 3 milligrams here, and I can say the INR was 2.4, and I can prescribe 4 here and 3 here and 4 here. But each time it might wait for the INR result. So if I'm waiting for a result and I say, look, I don't want to prescribe that there, That's not clear when you just look at the charts at the front page. You have to go into the warfarin prescribing to see, oh, right, okay, it's not been prescribed here. So it's caught a few people out, actually. So you've just got to be aware of that. So let's say I want to prescribe kind of 8 days worth. And let's say I don't want to prescribe any more. It's going to be an irregular dosing. But I'm going to confirm. So there's a question mark here. So that hasn't been prescribed. So if I confirm that, you'll see on the inpatient treatment, warfarin tablets, there are question marks here. Really important that tells you the warfarin is irregular, it's variable dosing, and it has not been prescribed on that. I mean, the legend here explains kind of what these are. So will not occur unless prescribing action is taken. Really important to remember. Let's say that's causing too much hassle and I want to actually change that to a regular order. You could just change it to a normal regular order, and you can say, you know, so in response to level, and then I can confirm that. So that's done. So that's changed that to a regular order. So that's really important to remember. Just to say, if you've got a patient that came in a few weeks ago, and you know they came in a few weeks ago, and you think, you know what, I cannot be bothered to prescribe everything again, all you need to do, go to a previous care episode, again on the inpatient tab, on the contextual menu, previous care episode. Let me see if I can remember which one has drugs on it. Let's view the episode. So you click the episode, you can view the episode. Yeah, there we go. So this patient, and it says you're viewing a historic record, and it's all red, so you can see. And I can say, okay, oh, they were on midazolam. That was a PRN midazolam. I can just modify this, and I can renew the order. So when I renew the order, I can edit it to say, so it takes me through the same pages. Let's say I want to double the dose. Actually, let's say I want to give this, 12 hours per day. Just really damage this patient. Then I'm done there, and I can confirm. And that's interesting. So, I'll just show you this because it's really important. So I could give, let's give 200, let's give 2.5 grams of midazolam. It will do it for me. You've got to be aware this version of EPMA does not stop you from being stupid and prescribing that. Now, hopefully someone would spot that during the administration bit, but it's just to be aware. Now, the new versions of EPMA, which are coming, do stop you from doing things like that, but it's not in there yet. So just be aware of that. So let's not be dangerous, and let's do that. So let's confirm. And then I'm still in that episode, so I need to return to the current episode, and you will see that. So as I returned, it took me back to monitoring and assessment. You will see that the MIDAS is now there under the PRN section. So it's all there, and you'll be able to see when that's administered as well. Okay, so the one of the last things I want to just note down is adding notes, which actually is a really useful feature of this system, just for communication with pharmacy. So you can add a generic patient note. So you click on patient notes, you add a note, and you say it's you select the type of note. Let's say it's a nurse communication, and it's hello, and you want to say I need coffee. So you save that, and that will pop up every time anyone goes into this patient note, which is really annoying. But if it's important, it's important. Now, what you could have done to be helpful would have set a suppression date. So if you set the suppression date as today, whatever the day is today, 24th, which is tomorrow actually, then that would disappear off the system by then. But otherwise you just have to click that away. You can add notes to specific drugs as well, which is really, and again, it's under the, weirdly, it's under the order modify bit, and you add an order note here. So you're adding a note specifically about this drug, and you can say important, and this could be for pharmacy, actually. Please double check dose. And pharmacy are really good at checking this. And then put a suppression date in of kind of, a few days time, and then you can save that. Okay, and then you get rid of that. So that means, and you can see a little thing pops up here that a note is added. Just some other important things to remember about this system. It is a browser, so if you press back, it will take you all the way back to it will take you back to a previous page. So you just got to be aware of that. So I'm in a patient now. If I press back, it takes me back to where I was in the record before. But often, sometimes it will take you back to the inpatient finder page, depending on what you are doing. So it's just to be aware of that. One slight headache is that if you want to look at your ward again, you've got to go back to the inpatient finder and then search for the ward again, which is a little bit annoying. The administration tab is a little bit easier to handle that, actually. Any questions? I think that's all I'm going to talk about in terms of inpatients. Just very briefly to say, outpatients is very similar. You've got to choose your clinic. That's the only difference. So I do a lot of children's outpatient prescribing. So I will see all of my patients in here. Let me see if I've got any test patients that have been prescribed stuff. I mean, it's a really similar user interface. Let's see if I've got an alert test one. But yeah, so this has got a lot. So I can see all the outpatient prescribing. I can see all the inpatient prescribing as well. If they were a current inpatient, I can click the medicine, and I can really quickly renew the order, which is really useful, certainly for me doing a lot of controlled drugs. And I can tell the GP to continue the therapy as well, and confirm, and then that's done. So the user interface is really, really similar. So that's all I was going to say about that. Just to say, if you have any questions or you're not sure, this video will be available on the, if you go to the clinical applications page on the intranet, and you go down to, where's EPMA? So EPMA, and then you've got the EPMA training tab here. There's lots of FAQs, there's lots of guides as well, with the video, with kind of these videos on, and the training, the EPMA courses or accessing the training is all here as well. So that's it. Any questions, contact IT help desk or contact pharmacy. Thank you.